Good afternoon, happy Saturday, keeps of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and today we're here with another episode of Savage Saturday Comic Review. This time, episode number 65. We are getting up there, folks. And this is part 3 of 3 of the adaptation of the Andrew J. Offutt novel, Conan and the Sorcerer, which was in the Savage Sword of Conan 53, 54, and 55. The two previous Savage Saturdays, if you missed them, have issues 53 and 54 reviewed. And today we are going to review the last part in issue 55. So that's going to be the first part of the book. We might show you the cover art gallery in there too, something a little bit of fun. But a great, absolutely fantastic Earl Norem cover. One of my favorite fantasy artists of all time. The guy is incredible. And then we have a cool frontispiece, which we'll show you. And this is by Rudy Nebres. So you can see the great art there. Alright, so let's get into this third part called Black Lotus and Yellow Death. And of course, the adaptation is by Roy Thomas, the best in the business at adaptations. You cannot convince me otherwise. We have art by John Buscema, and we have inks by Ricardo Villamonte. So we got an all-star team here. And our third part opens up with Conan being deposited by the Sandlick at the Oasis, where the Sandlick believes he is depositing Conan ahead of his Azul, so Conan can slay him. As you remember from last week, he lied a little bit to the Sandlick demon, so who used to be human, but was murdered by his brother Azul, who has Conan's soul trapped in a mirror. So Conan is trying to survive a wizard that was dead that became a demon, and a wizard that's alive that has his soul trapped in a mirror. So he's stretched the truth here or there to get himself by. He's actually asked after Esperana, who stole the Eye of Erlich, which is a sword-shaped pendant. And his Azul has Conan chasing her down to recover it, or else his soul is forfeit. So Conan had to tell a little lie to get placed ahead of her and to not die at the hands of the demon, which he proved absolutely powerless against. It was just his quick thinking and his words that saved his life. So we got a little recap here of the first two books with Conan hearing of this Eye of Erlich treasure, going to steal it, running into another thief who ended up dying by vipers, and then running into Esperana and the thief with her, and she escaped while Conan slew her partner, which tried to kill him, only for Conan to end up getting trapped and his soul captured by his Azul, the sorcerer of the house. So then Conan set out in the desert after his soul was entrapped, and he had no option but to work for his Azul. Ran into the Sandlick, ended up ahead of Esperana, and now he's at the Oasis, patiently awaiting her arrival to surprise her and take the pendant and get back to his Azul to save his soul. So a lot going on. And we see Conan at the Oasis, patiently waiting. And as he's there, this family of three comes up, a father and his son and daughter, and Conan makes fast friends with them. He makes sure that they know that he's not going to threaten them, and he learns a little bit about camels from them and how to do certain camel commands. They give him a bit of food to help him survive, and Conan gives them a gift of steel, one of his daggers, as a thank you in return. More of a ceremonial thing, politeness, and it's a great exchange. Not everything has to be like this all-out battle. And Conan tells the guy's son, "I will not insult him, boy, by offering your father anything for the food he gave me in friendship. But likewise, in friendship, accept this knife, a small gift of good metal." And just travelers exchanging information and gifts along the way, each of them showing respect to the other. And then you got Conan sitting and waiting for her after getting some information from the old man, also about a slave caravan that's riding towards the oasis, which Conan needs to look out for unless he becomes enslaved. But Conan sits and for a long time he thinks about how kind and good it is possible for people to be and how few behave so, right? I mean, that's still true today, right? It's easy to be nice. So many people choose not to. So Conan's waiting patiently. And finally, within sight, comes a woman leading 2 camels. And the sleight of figure Conan knows can only be Esperana. So he hides, and she's exhausted, barely makes it to the oasis and starts drinking, trying to revive and refresh herself some. Conan is biding his time. He doesn't want her to attack him. He doesn't want to have to hurt her or slay her if she tries to kill him. But, sorry, still getting over a cold. But while he's waiting, Esperana takes a little swim. Conan spies the pendant hanging on her neck between her breasts, and he knows that that's what he needs to steal from her. So he waits until she swims out, and she is going to sleep. And Conan, still young in this tale, this is before he met Red Sonja, so still young, still just over the walls of, but they're probably under 20 years old. He's around 18, and still the sight of the woman stirs feelings in him. He's there for a job. He has honor. He is not going to kill her while she sleeps, although he feels that would probably be the best option. But it's just not the type of person he is. So what he does is he takes it and is trying to steal the camels away with what he learned from the 3 members of the family that he ran into. But one of the camels snorts, wakes her up, and she is hell-bent on attacking Conan and killing him. Now, Conan has no wish to hurt her, although he owes her nothing, and she did leave him to die after having her comrade in arms try to kill him. And Conan still does not want to slay her. So, he's a lot more honorable than she is. She keeps trying to attack him, and she keeps failing miserably. But her attack eventually scares the camels, and they ride off. And now they're both stranded at the oasis with no rides and no provisions. And she is still attacking Conan. And Conan takes away her sword, finally calms her down. And she is not remembering that Conan was the other thief there when her and her partner were stealing. She just asked him what his name is. He says Conan. Even though he called her name, and I caught a little trick in here, she goes, so I don't believe you. I'll tell you my name perhaps tomorrow. But he's already called her Esperana once. So a little mistake maybe in the adaptation. Well, or she's got a really bad memory. But her and Conan fall asleep. Conan tells her to sleep on one side of the oasis. He'll sleep on the other. And he wakes, of course, to her sword in his face. And he says, well, before you try to slay me, you should probably look behind you. Those are the slavers that the family had told me about. And what do you think they're going to do to a lone woman on a trail that they're riding? And she has second thoughts and does not try to slay Conan. But what they do is spin a web of lies about their camels being stolen by a party of 9 thieves and making off with it. And that they are on their way to the city to see her brother in the royal guard. And when they ask who the ruler is, Conan doesn't have an answer. And thus they are caught in the lie. And that's when the slavers attack them because they want to enslave them and sell them. And Conan is just cutting down. There's 5 guys that ran ahead of the party that check out the oasis, and Conan is just slaying them. One gets away, and as he's riding away, Esperana takes this moment to once again try to attack Conan. Conan was not expecting the sudden betrayal, falls, and knocks himself unconscious on a palm trunk, and he is out for the count. When he does awaken, however, he is enslaved, but luckily she got caught with him, and they run into the guys that they ran into last issue, where Conan had given them the things that he had got from the thieves he slew that tried to kill him. So these royal guards see Conan. Conan asks for them to make the traders release him, and the guards do. Conan was diplomatic on the road with them and honest, and gave them information and also gave them gold. So they have respect for Conan. And the one guard that helps free Conan tells Conan that he was born too low a station, because Conan's got a nobility about him that he has a respect for. Now, the previous night when Conan had taken the Eye Erlich, he had swapped it with the fake that his Urzula gave him. So Esperanna still doesn't know that she wears the fake Eye of Erlich. Conan has a real one buried, and he sends Esperanna on her way with Aesir, and off they ride. And Conan goes back and digs up the real gem that he has, and then he's on his way back to his Urzul. And once there, he demands his Urzul, of course. And what a great look at that shot, guys! What a great full page panel there by John Buscema and Villamonte, just incredible. But he demands it. His Urzul, of course, is trying to get the jewel first before he frees Conan's soul. But Conan lets his Urzul know that he is not all powerful. Because if you guys remember last issue, he had that conversation with the Stanlick, who told him how to destroy his Urzul, and told him what his Urzul had done to him when he was still human and his brother, and his Urzul slew him. So Conan says, his Urzul says, I would see proof of how resourceful you are. And Conan says, not resourceful enough. I've no waters from that river down in Kush, or Stygian iron, nor would I slay a maiden for her hair, which were all ways that Conan could kill him. Leaving him only one means to kill his Urzul left, and that's to turn his own things against him. And it throws his Urzul for a loop. He goes, what nonsense is this you speak? And he lets him know that he ran into his brother, the Sandlick. So his Urzul runs to this little chest, and he's got things which, once combined together, will show if the jewel, the Eye Erlich that Conan has, is the real or the fake. And then his Urzul tries to con Conan and says, look, you'll be free, but when you get to the city, the guards are looking for you. I have these parchments which will free you, but he's got the lotus powder in it. He's going to try the same trick. But Conan's no fool, puts his finger in the end of the tube when his Urzul goes to blow, and then quickly blows the yellow lotus powder back in his Urzul's face. So turns the tables on him quick enough, and his Urzul is down and out, and Conan is going through his Urzul's keep, and he's slaying all the lifeless zombies that are there, that the soulless ones that he had made, the guys that are just wanting for death, and some of the other grotesqueries that he found in the castle. And then when he heads back, he sees that his Urzul is dead on the floor, and thus Conan is off with the mirror intact, set it up for another adventure and maybe another novel. And now Andrew Offutt did write 3 novels. The next one is The Sword of Skelos, which was also adapted in the next couple issues of The Savage Sword of Conan. So it was a really good ending, a really fun story, a lot of ups and downs. And Conan not always conquering. Conan still getting some people getting the best of him. He's not all powerful. He's not all conquering. And he does make mistakes. Now let's get to a little bit of the art gallery. Now this is going to be a fun picture, okay? So we all know Joe Jusko for his incredible painted artwork. But this is some of his regular line work, and right here. Now look how amazing that is. That is probably one of the best looking Conans I've ever seen. That is a fantastic picture. Joe Jusko just knocked it out of the park. The next one we got 2 pages, which I can't seem to separate. So we have Will Mignia on this page and Peter Ledger on the other. Both of varying qualities. You don't lead with Joe Jusko and then show other artists. It's kind of hard for them to live up to that after that. So these were okay after you look at a Joe Jusko, right? You turn the page like, all right, I'm underwhelmed though. That's not Jusko. And then you have Steve Svensson and Rich Larson on these 2 pages. And again, you led with the Jusko. It can only go downhill from there for the most part, unless you were putting them up against Ken Kelly and Earl Norem and Hildebrandt and these other great artists of the time. But these are all new artist spotlights, and Joe Jusko was still starting out back in the day, right? And still that talented. But that's our Savage Saturday comic review for the week. Now, I want you guys in the comments to let me know. Do you want me to do another 3-parter from the Savage Sword of Conan with the Sword of Skelos, the next story? Or do you want me to review a color comic? Or something, a different barbaric thing altogether? You guys let me know. And until next time, keep it casual.